Hey everybody, welcome back to Recordology. Okay, Christmas is over and you probably or might have ended up with a record player that looks a lot like this. This is a Victrola suitcase player and these are super popular this year. If you don't have one and you want one, click on the link in the description below and you too can have one. These are great, these are awesome. This is a perfect beginner's turntable, or if you don't have a lot of space, or you just think the styling of this beats anything else out there, this is a great primary turntable. So I'm going to show you how to get the most out of this turntable, including some tips and tricks. You're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome to Recordology.
Okay guys, so here is the Victrola suitcase player. This one is in this kind of Tiffany light blue. Let's take a look around the outside. So it's got a clip. Definitely recommend you keep that shut when it's in transportation mode, though you're carrying it around or whatnot. It does have built-in stereo speakers, so you don't need any external speakers. I get a lot of questions about this. Can you and how do you hook up speakers? Yes, you can. You don't have to, and I'll show you how to hook up speakers because that's definitely a popular request. But know that you can always use these built-in speakers. It also has these nice little metal caps on the corners to help protect it. On the bottom, you've got these rubber feet, which are really important for giving it stability when it's on a flat surface, as well as some sound insulation, because vibrations can show up in the sound you don't want it to. So it's important that it's got good soft rubber feet. Also, it doesn't sit up like this. Like you might expect a suitcase to sit up like that. It kind of does, but it's really not designed to. It's designed to be stored flat. So there you go. That's the outside. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. On the inside, you can see that you've got a lot of controls, but don't get overwhelmed. It may appear that this is a whole heck of a lot of stuff, but it's really not too much. It's definitely like riding a bike. I'll show you how to use each piece, and then once you get the hang of it, you're going to be able to operate this thing easily. It's really not difficult. So let's take a look at each individual piece. Okay, the very first thing you're going to want to do is power it up. So the power cord that comes with it, and unfortunately there's not a place to store the cord, but you're going to want to plug it right into here, and then the other end right into any outlet that you have in your home. Also right here you're going to see some outputs. You can connect this to your stereo system if you have one, or I'm going to show you in a little bit how you hook this up to some external powered speakers. So even though this has speakers, hooking this up will give you some extra punch in the audio quality. Now, once you open the lid and it's powered on, you're going to want to start with this knob down here in the bottom right hand corner. This is the power switch and volume knob. Once you turn it on, you're going to see this light up. That's the power light, and then this will become your volume knob. So start with it kind of down low so you don't blow yourself away, but that's the first thing. You're going to also notice right below that there's a headphone jack, so you can plug in any headphones you want to get that true high quality audio experience without disturbing your neighbors or the people above you or below you if you're in an apartment. Just above the power and volume switch is this source selector switch. So you can switch from BT, which means Bluetooth, line in, which is this jack right here. So it doesn't come with a cable, but if you have a cable that'll fit that, it's the same size as a headphone jack, but it needs to be male to male on both sides with that. You can plug it into a tape player, CD player, something that doesn't have Bluetooth connectivity, and when you connect it to this system really becomes a full-featured stereo system, and you can use multiple inputs that way. And then phono is phonograph, which is the record player that's built in. When you turn the power switch on while it's in Bluetooth mode, the light will be blue, of course. When you switch it to line in, it turns purple. And then when you switch it to phono for the record player, phonograph, it turns red. You'll get to know what those colors mean for your player, and it'll really allow you to, at a quick glance, know what's selected. Now for Bluetooth, I'm not going to go into it now, but basically you're going to pair this device to your phone like you would any other Bluetooth device. Under the tone arm, you're going to see a couple of switches here. So this switch right here is the auto stop switch. It's either in the on or the off position. Depending on where you have it set, the platter will either spin by itself all the time or only when you rotate the tone arm over it. Above here you have the speed selector switch. So 33 RPM are typically the big 12-inch records. 45 RPM are typically the 7-inch records with the big hole, and you have to use the adapter. I'll show you that in a minute. And 78 are the old school shellac 78 RPM 10-inch records that this thing can play as well. Now, although technically you should be using a stylus that is different and specialized for a 78, you can use the one that's built in. It's not going to damage either the stylus or the record, so don't worry about that. Now right here, you'll see this lever right here. That is called a cueing lever. And what that does is it allows you to raise or lower the tone arm gently without having to grab it and drop it onto the record, which may damage the record. At the back of the tone arm, you're going to see the counterweight. This type of record player uses a spring counterweight. So what that means is it puts a little pressure on the back and relieves pressure and weight from the stylus so that it doesn't press down too hard onto the record. Pressure onto the record is called tracking force. These track at about 5 grams, which is perfectly acceptable and will not damage your records, although they are a bit heavier than some higher end models that track between 1 to 3 grams, so they may wear out the record faster, but unless you're playing your record 1,000 times a year, you're really not going to notice any difference. To the left of the tone arm assembly is the 45 RPM adapter. So when you play the 7-inch discs with the big hole, you're going to need this adapter. All it does is allows the larger hold record to fit onto the turntable. It does nothing besides that. And when you're done or you're not using it, just stick it right back here on that peg. Okay, and here's a zoomed out shot showing everything together. So you've got your volume knob and power switch down here, your input selector switch, your line input jack, your headphone jack. Right here you've got your auto on and off for the turntable or the platter. You've got your speed selector switch, and you've got your cueing lever, and your 45 RPM adapter. So from this angle, I want to show you what this auto stop switch does. So if the auto stop switch is in the on position, it becomes somewhat automatic in that the platter will only spin once you rotate the tone arm across it. And while we're on the subject of tone arms, make sure that you put this clip down here in place when you're not using it so that this doesn't fall out. If you see this red part right here, that part's replaceable, so the needle is replaceable. The cartridge, which in this case is a ceramic cartridge that the needle connects to convert the mechanical movements of the record into sound that you and I can hear, is not upgradable. So what you can do though is you can always replace the needle when it wears out, although that'll happen very infrequently, so don't worry about that. When it starts to sound muddy and dull and you start losing, noticeable sound quality, that's the time to replace it. But that's going to be, years down the road if you're using this thing normally. It's not going to be something you have to worry about. And we'll do a show on that down the road. Okay, so this is the platter. This is the part of the record player that spins. There's actually a motor and a belt underneath that turns the platter, and depending on what speed you have it selected to, it'll spin that many revolutions per minute, or RPM, so that the sound is at the right pitch. And so these record players have a smaller platter than some, you'll notice, that have a bigger one. Those are full size. This is not a full size. However, it'll play any size record. It allows it to fit in a smaller package, but it'll play any record you want. Also, it does not require a slip mat because it has these rubber nubs that allow it to grab any record and spin it and protect it properly. Okay, so now let's play a record. Make sure that we have it selected to phono. Make sure that this is on right here. Most records that are the 12-inch variety are going to be 33. So we have our speed selector switch set to 33 RPM. Now we're going to take out our record. Make sure you handle the record by the edge and by the label only. You never want to touch the record surface because it can damage it. The oils in your fingers are not good for the vinyl and for the grooves. So we're going to gently place the record right on to the top of the record player like that, and unclip the tone arm right here, and we're going to gently lift with our thumb, and you can kind of push on this little stick that hangs off the side. Push back and lift up and then rotate over the record and gently lower it. Or you can use the cueing lever that we talked about earlier, where you just lift it up right here, rotate this over, and then you can pull back on the cueing lever, and that's a whole lot easier than being shaky and dropping it, which is something that I do from time to time. And then you can control your volume right here.
I love to laugh.
So you're going to get full range audio, you're going to get full bass, full treble that you would expect out of these size speakers. But if you want something a little bit more, you can connect it to external speakers. We already talked about the headphone jack, so you can use that. And if you use the headphone jack, it's not going to make any sound out of the speakers. So you can totally have private listening without bothering anybody using the headphone jack. But if you want to go the other route and make the sound bigger, here's how you do that. Okay guys, so if you want to make the sound bigger, to have richer bass and higher bright end, you're going to need to connect it to external speakers. So you can use the built-in ones, or you can connect to external speakers. These jacks in the back here allow you to plug it into another stereo system's input, or directly into powered speakers, which is what I'm going to be doing. So use an RCA cable. Usually they're black with white and red. Mine are a little bit different, but basically you just plug the red into red, usually the white into white. In this case I'm using blue, and that's it. The other end will plug into our speakers. Okay, so here's the back of our powered speakers. Depending on what model you have, they may be different, but the basic premise is that these are speakers that have a power cord that plug into the wall. They're self-amplified speakers, so they're not regular speakers, but powered speakers are pretty common. So if you Google search powered speakers or look on Amazon, it'll be easy to find. I'm going to put a link in the description of some great powered speakers that I would recommend. But anyway, once you have the cable plugged into your record player, you plug the same colors into the back of the powered speakers. And now that sound will also go to those powered speakers. Okay, and then we just lower the stylus like we did before, and the music will come out of the bigger speakers and the little speakers. Okay. So now, as you can see, the sound is much higher quality coming out of external speakers, although the speakers that are built in do just a fine job by themselves. But if you want to add some extra speakers, that is how to do it. To play a 7-inch record, simply take the 45 RPM adapter, place the record like this, and the rest is all the same. When you're done, put your 45 adapter back. Don't forget to select the speed selector to 45. To play a 78, it's the same thing. You just place it right over the spindle like that, switch this to 78, and play the record like you normally would. And that, my friends, is how to enjoy all of the benefits of your Victrola suitcase player. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any questions of things we didn't cover in this video. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you now know some of the tips and tricks of the beautiful Victrola suitcase player. And a lot of this applies to other suitcase players as well, not just the Victrola. They are similar, but they all have their own little uniquenesses to them as well. So anyway, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what color you guys got. I know they come in like, dozens, maybe hundreds of different options. So definitely let me know what you got. Again, if you want one, check the link below in the description. You can buy one as well. They're very affordable. It's a great starting point to get into the world of vinyl. If you haven't done it yet, hit subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Most of all, thank you so much for being there. I really appreciate it. Happy record hunting. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Recordology. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss a single thing.
I am the Edison phonograph. The more you become acquainted with me, the better you will like me. Ask the dealer.